I'd just like to briefly address the presence of the Chinese surveillance balloon in U.S. airspace. I spoke this morning with Director of the CCP Central Foreign Affairs Office, Wang Yi, to convey that in light of China's unacceptable action, I am postponing my planned travel this weekend to China. As you know, President Biden and President Xi agreed during their meetings in Bali in November that I would travel to Beijing to follow up on their discussions. We've been working across the U.S. government to prepare for a substantive set of discussions on issues that matter to the American people and to people around the world. And we've been engaging for some time with our counterparts in Beijing to prepare for these meetings. Yesterday, the Department of Defense announced that we had detected and were tracking a high-altitude surveillance balloon that remains over the continental United States. We continue to track and monitor the balloon closely. We're confident this is a Chinese surveillance balloon. Once we detected the balloon, the U.S. government acted immediately to protect against the collection of sensitive information. We communicated with the PRC government directly through multiple channels about this issue. Members of my team consulted with our partners in other agencies and in Congress. We also engaged our close allies and partners to inform them of the presence of the surveillance balloon in our airspace. We concluded that conditions were not conducive for a constructive visit at this time. In my call today with Director Wang Yi, I made clear that the presence of this surveillance balloon in U.S. airspace is a clear violation of U.S. sovereignty and international law, that it's an irresponsible act, and that the PRC's decision to take this action on the eve of my planned visit is detrimental to the substantive discussions that we were prepared to have. I told Director Wang that the United States remains committed to diplomatic engagement with China and that I plan to visit Beijing when conditions allow. In the meantime, the United States will continue to maintain open lines of communication with China, including to address this ongoing incident. Indeed, that's why we need direct and regular communications in the first place, and that's why it's critical that such lines remain open at all times to help avoid miscalculation and conflict. One final but important note. The world expects the United States and China to manage our relationship responsibly. And indeed, addressing many of today's global challenges, challenges that affect the lives of our people and people around the world, demands that we find a way to work together as well. The United States will continue to act in a way that reflects that responsibility. We look to our PRC counterparts to do the same. Now, the Foreign Minister and I just signed an important agreement that will guide our country's cooperation on science and technology in the years ahead. The agreement builds on one that we signed in 1992, which helped foster 3 decades of consequential collaboration. Our universities have conducted joint research on cancer and climate change. Our governments have worked together to reduce air pollution, to promote research and development on semiconductors, which power modern technologies from cars to smartphones. Our businesses have partnered on life-saving vaccines and treatments, like the collaboration between the U.S. pharmaceutical company Moderna and South Korean biotechnology company Samsung Biologics to manufacture a safe and effective COVID vaccine for the region. Today's agreement will expand the scope of that cooperation, both in areas that we've long worked together on, like space, but also in emerging fields like biotechnology, quantum, artificial intelligence. Scientific cooperation is just one of many areas where our nations are working together to the benefit of our populations. Another is our shared security, an area where we have enduring ties as our troops continue to train and conduct joint exercises side by side. As President Biden has said, our alliance is the linchpin of peace, stability, and prosperity in the region, and is poised to grow stronger still with the launch of the Republic of Korea's new Indo-Pacific strategy this past December, which reflects our own shared interests and shared approaches to the region's most pressing challenges. Today, we reaffirmed our commitment to improving our allied defense against common threats, as well as our commitment to defending the Republic of Korea using the full range of U.S. capabilities, including nuclear, conventional, and missile defense capabilities. Earlier this week, Secretary of Defense Austin met with President Yoon.
Ipinagpaliban ni Blinken ang paglalakbay sa China dahil sa hindi katanggap-tanggap na Chinese espiyang balon. Washington, Feb 3, Reuters, ipinagpaliban ng kalihim ng Estado ng Estados Unidos na si Antony Blinken ang pagbisita sa China na inaasahang magsisimula sa Biyernes matapos masubaybayan ang isang pinaghihinalaang Chinese spyang balon na lumilipad sa Estados Unidos sa tinatawag ng Washington na malinaw na paglabag ng soberanya ng US. Sinabi ng Pentagon noong Huwebes na sinusubaybayan nito ang isang high-altitude surveillance balloon sa ibabaw ng kontinental ng Estados Unidos. Sinabi ng mga opisyal na isinasaalang-alang ng mga pinuno ng militar ang pagbaril dito sa ibabaw ng Montana noong Miyerkules, ngunit sa kalaunan ay nagrekomenda laban dito kay Pangulong Joe Biden dahil sa panganib sa kaligtasan mula sa mga labi. Sinabi ng isang matataas na opisyal ng Departamento ng Estado na hindi tama ang mga kondisyon sa oras na ito para sa kung ano ang magiging unang mataas na antas ng pagpupulong ng US-China doon sa mga taon. Isang paghingi ng tawad ng Chino ang nabanggit, sinabi ng opisyal, ngunit inilarawan ang lobo bilang isang malinaw na paglabag sa soberanya at internasyonal na batas. Ang insidente ay dumating sa gitna ng namumuong tensyon sa pagitan ng US at China. Ang nangungunang diplomat ng Amerika ay nakatakdang bumisita sa Beijing sa Pebrero 5 upang magsagawa ng mga pag-uusap sa isang malawak na hanay ng mga isyu kabilang ang seguridad, Taiwan at COVID-19. Ngunit nagkaroon ng pangingilabot noong Huwebes nang ipahayag ng mga opisyal ng depensa ng US na sinusubaybayan nila isang high-altitude surveillance balloon sa ibabaw ng Estados Unidos. Ang high-altitude spying ay nagmamarka ng bagong mababang para sa relasyon ng US-China. Ang insidente ay malinaw na itinampok ang umuugong mga tensyon na hinahangad na tugunan ng pagbisita, na ang pagpapahayag ng panghihinayang ng China ay hindi sapat upang iwaksi ang pangangailangan ng administrasyon na tumugon sa mga hinala ng espiya. Sinabi ng isang matataas na opisyal ng kagawaran ng Estado na ang lobo ay magpapaliit sa agenda ng anumang pagpupulong sa mga opisyal ng Chino sa paraang hindi nakakatulong at hindi nakakatulong.